Hello guys, Art-Teeves here. This is the fourth and final video that covers the process of giving our spider robot model some basic animation. The end result can be seen right now in the introductory video. This video will only be useful for those of you who are new to 3ds Max's animation and weight painting. More than that, we will cheat a bit and use the preset character animation toolkit thing. First things first, I go to the helpers menu and switch to the cat objects tab. There I select cat parent, go to cat rig load save section and create a default spider rig thing. I position this red spiderish thing beneath my spider and align it properly. To be honest, I was aiming for anatomical accuracy with my spider, but 8 legs. It's just visually overwhelming. So in the spirit of creative license, we've edited out a couple. Don't worry, it's still mostly accurate. Next I grab some cat objects named Spider and Spider Hub and position them properly. Accurate bone cylinder placement isn't required at this point. We'll be manually adjusting the weights, so a rough placement is sufficient. Since our spider isn't organic, weight painting will be really easy. There are not many parts that actually bend. Next thing I do is select some objects that are named spider-leg platform, select their IK targets and position them to endpoints of each leg. If you are just starting with animation, you'll hear about IK or inverse kinematics. Instead of moving each joint individually, you tell the end of the limb where to go, and the software calculates how the joints should bend. Like when you reach for something, your elbow bends automatically. That's the idea. Anyways, I activate Snaps toggle and place IK targets to central endpoint of each leg. Then I switch to the Motion tab and click Match IK to FK for each spider leg platform. Essentially, this function makes sure that when you switch from IK control method to forward kinematics, the method that revolves around rotating some joints, the limb doesn't jump or move abruptly. At this point we can ignore 3 other legs, later we will simply mirror our animations to the other side. I add some more bones to each leg and edit their sizes the way they can fit inside our spider's legs. Make sure to match the amount of bones to the amount of actual leg segments. In order to rotate some bones I've created, I switch to the local coordinates system. At this point you may notice that my central bone isn't aligned to my spider yet. This will be pretty annoying once I start copying my animations. There are no restrictions on the movement of the top bones in relation to the spider's body. The crucial point here is to avoid scaling bones directly in the viewport. Instead, use the parameters menu. Viewport scaling can introduce inconsistencies and cause problems. I've skipped some parts of the video where I repeated the leg setup, since it was the same thing over and over. Nothing exciting there. Just a reminder, the more accurate your leg placement, the better your animation will look. After leg bones are set on one side, I select the upper bone of each leg on this side, go to the Modify panel and click Copy Limb Settings. Then I select the upper bone of the corresponding opposite leg and click Paste Mirror Limb Settings. Once again, I've edited out some parts of the video where I repeat this action for each 2 corresponding legs. Next I apply the skin modifier to the model and add all bones as influences. As you can see, the animation starts working at this point, but it is really messed up. Now we can manipulate these cylinders, which act as a visual representations of each bone's influence. Not only do they define the area of the spider's mesh that a bone affects, but also the strength of that influence. Think of them as influence zones that determine how much a bone deforms the surrounding geometry. In 3ds Max scanning, red indicates strong bone influence, transitioning to blue for minimal or no influence. Since we're making a simple robot, it's a lot more convenient for us to rely on weight painting than on those cylinders. To use it, I click on the range icon in the weight properties of the skin modifier. The next step involves refining the bone influence. We'll systematically select each bone, analyze its effect on the geometry, and adjust both the affected area and the strength of its influence. The Weights tool second row of buttons features a 0 to 1 range to define the influence of selected bone on selected vertices. To select the edge loops, we'll select a pair of vertices and activate the appropriate tool. We can also use a lasso selection tool to make our life a bit easier. Initially, the model's deformation may seem erratic, with vertices failing to move as expected even after weight adjustments. This is typically caused by conflicting bone influences. Therefore, a meticulous process of assigning weights for each bone and vertex is required. For precise control, I sometimes clear a bone's weights and manually assign them on a vertex-by-vertex basis. This allows me to accurately define the influence of two bones at joints requiring a bending deformation. I've edited out some parts of the video, but kept the most crucial details of the process. I'll keep narrating the next steps now to keep my video nice and short. In order to start an animation sequence, we select our spider helper, go to the Motion tab, hold the Add Layer button, and add a cat motion layer. Now we have our animation. Good! The only problem that our legs intersect each other, and so do our joints. To fix it, we select our newly created cat motion layer and click a green cat motion editor button. In this menu, we can set animation phases individually for each leg. We can also see where each leg goes at each moment of our animation sequence. Also, we can edit settings of some other bones, influencing them with the help of adjustable graphs. As you'll see shortly, I've made some changes here, altering graphs for knee movement and also the distance traveled by endpoints of each leg. I increased the hub's lift property to lift it away from legs, avoiding potential overlapping. Next I play around with the limb phases, ensuring legs don't intersect each other. And that's it. That covers everything I wanted to mention here. Thanks for watching, guys. If my videos are of use to you, please be my guest and subscribe to my channel for more modeling tips and stylized content. And most importantly, have a great day.